Good morning, Ines.
Good morning. I'm taking off my scarf. I was so cold this morning. I didn't know what to do.
Have you been able to warm up slightly?
I have a cup of coffee here. Yes, 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 yes. And I've had some warm water to drink as well. So, get the heating going inside.
Get you up and going. Get the base chakra, a bit of heat,
Absolutely,
so permeates through our being and gives us a bit of energy.
I'm going to start with the stomach chakra first. Down the taste buds.
How have you been?
I've been very well. And how have you been, Thor? You're looking great.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think definitely the light is helping me look a bit more sort of shiny. You get the aura glowing,
Yeah, I want that light. Oh, yes. Woo! Yes. Wesley.
What are we covering this week?
Well, actually, survival. I'm writing it down. Survival. That is sort of in a nutshell. But every day is survival anyway, isn't it?
Every day is survival, and it is. How are we approaching survival this week?
Okay, and again, anyone who's listening to this, please note down any questions you have, any comments you have, which you've already given me. Next week, I think I'm going to cover more on color healing. We will. But survival under that heading is, well, everyone's life is busy, obviously, busy in a different way. It was very much survival at one time, meaning that we ran away from animals, from lions, from tigers, from bears to wolves, you name it. That was survival, or even just getting food into our system. But today's survival is the word we would also use. But our survival is different, but actually not so different. It's still survival. We still have to eat. We still have to get on with life. There have been a lot of changes in our lifestyles, in particular also in our bodily functions, in particular that our digestive system, I'm generally speaking now, is more able, let me get that hand down, more able to deal and digest stale food than we were in the past. Sorry, blah, 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 blah. Our digestive system has changed. We're not able to digest the stale food that we had to digest in years gone by, many years gone by. But keeping going is the biggest challenge that we have. Life is a struggle. We know that. It is meant to be. It's meant to be that sort of a situation, because if it weren't, there wouldn't be any purpose, any reason for entering into life in the first place. And I'm talking on a very general level of life in its totality. If you are the little mouse that's being hunted by the pussycat, it is still a situation of survival. It is still meant to be. It is still a lesson for that little mouse or that poor little pussycat. We all have a lifespan, and that lifespan is the individual learning program, or karma. That learning program, we can't see the end result in, mainly because it really cannot be put into words. We do know that all things that are within our life are very positively needed to live our lifespan in accordance to that learning program. That doesn't help an awful lot, but I was saying to you, Thor, we're always homing in on the word meditation. The meditation, relaxation, whichever word we need to use, is still the foundation of calming that mind, which will give us the insight, the individual insight on how we are able to cope with the necessity of going through each of our learning programs. Where life becomes very desperate at times, can and usually also comes up again to become strong and to become positive. So there will always be many different feelings in our life, up and down. But if we possibly can, we need to try to enjoy them all. And this is where the spiritual link might help you. Thor and I are endeavoring to transcend the physical awareness of self, to become aware and to understand many questionable purposes within our life that we so glibly talk about. It's easy to talk about purpose. Oh, it's a learning process, when perhaps we are warm, we're safe, we have enough to eat, we have friends, we have all of those situations which make life much, much easier. But if we're not in that situation, to talk so glibly about the purposes, we all have a purpose, we're all equal, da da da. But in the physical, the reality is very different. So this is where the meditation, whatever situation anyone is in, we will always have a problem. We will always have a challenge. So meditation doesn't just give our mind a break, but it also brings forward calmness, which helps us to move through life in a much stronger, positive, and happier fashion, because a calm mind and a happy mind makes our lives more livable. So we come again, I would question, well, what is a happy mind? A happy mind to me is if I don't have any horrible deadlines, if I don't have to worry about how I'm going to meet all my obligations at the end of the month, that becomes a happy, a relaxed mind. Life isn't that easy, is it? But we're also on a quest to find the innermost secrets of ourselves, a deeper knowledge of ourselves, understand ourselves better, but also to appreciate ourselves more. Those challenges take a lot of resources from our own integrity, from our own strength, to still feel confident when you're perhaps at the bottom of the pecking ladder of life, still to feel confident that you are in the same league as important as someone else. Now, moving deep into ourselves not only brings forward that strength in life, but also our endurance and the foresight, which helps us to recognize different forms of importance and different forms of enjoyment in our life. If, again, I'm being very glib, touch wood, I have good eyesight. What is enjoyment? If somebody became blind or had some terrible illness, it happens overnight, you go to bed totally well, nothing untoward, and you wake up, you can't see. It was on television. That enjoyment in life might be just to be able to see the sunrise again, not as a blurry white light in the back of your mind, but actually to see the different flowers, to see your loved ones. That can also be enjoyment. In other words, it's important to keep things in perspective. We all have to try to overcome the patterns of desperation, because that is the life pattern. In some of the others, if you have any questions, I was asking you, Thor, as well, the lady who asked about color healing, always touching in on color healing, the purposes of life. And I said to Thor this morning, didn't I? We just had this meditation. It's not just meditation. It's not that at all. It is spiritual link. Because whatever anyone is looking for, however you identify the divine force in your own way, is in that calm mind. But that calm mind could see you in your mind racing under Silverton. Other people have to climb Mount Everest. Other people need a rap to calm their mind, and other people need quiet meditation tape. It's that diversified. Meditation doesn't always need to move into the bowels of the earth to find a situation of reality, because the calmness and the spiritual link can happen anywhere, anytime, any place. And it doesn't matter what is going on. And it doesn't always have to be so deep that you don't remember it. That doesn't mean that your type of meditation, your mind, is any less able to than the next person's. We're just different. Not only does this open understanding within ourselves, connect us with realms of spirit, bring forward those gifts you desire, but it is also a very strong tool in the building blocks of this particular life. So, lady, because I don't know if I'll repeat this next time, who talks about color healing. We will go into it. It is our opinion, our direction. If you feel you wish to tackle anything in a different form, trust yourself to move forward with it. That individuality is our guidance. The way you think, the individuality is also your guidance. Meant to be like that. Our mind is moving all the time, even when we're sleeping. Mind stops, nor does the heart stop, nor any of the organs of the body. But what we're doing, we're talking about the mind, which is the controller. And within that situation, through meditation, meditation means calming. Calming the mind means the concentration is an obsessive thought that the mind takes on, which calms the mind. The obsession is you're not thinking about your worries, and you're only concentrating on that little lamp, that little flame in the candle, or that little visualization that Thor does beautifully through the meditations he leads. That then becomes, it should be obsessive. Through meditation, it can help parts of the brain to resuscitate, to revive, re-strengthen, and reassemble itself so that your whole life becomes more important, because you have reached the point where you can move away for a time, be it from all the anguish, the difficulties, the problems that are contained within the physical life, and allowing that which guides to come closer. This is called development of the spiritual self. And this also allows your guiding forces to come close, to direct and to help you through your life, not somebody else's life, your individuality, your purpose, your lessons. And on a sort of a, we think, okay, I'm meditating, I'm going to do some healing, so this is mine, and then I close the door, and then blah, blah, blah. However, if you're thinking of going to the theater or any event, meditate just for a little before you go, because your mind becomes more acute, more able to enjoy. It is our whole being, our whole life force, which needs to enjoy living. As it is, enjoyment is as a very important part of our life, not just for the physical body, but very much for our spirit, which gains from the lessons in our life. So enjoy. Questions always to Thor, because we're very much, Thor is very knowledgeable about many subjects. So if you would like to hear, well, we will. The color healing. You do color healing. I've done color healing, still doing color healing. It's just nice to have a different, even if you're on the same page, there's always a slight deviation, which is healthy and good.
There's always a slight deviation. What I really appreciate about our meditation, and I always think it's the best, but there's plenty of different meditation out there which are really good. It is the spiritual facets of it, right? Of allowing that spiritual guidance to come forward and to guide and to give insights about your life from a different place. I think that's powerful.
When you said there are many different forms, not decrying anyone, any method. What we said last time, we introduced the breathing, and we also did, what other one was there?
There was wrapping around color, right?
That's right. Yes, that's right. Yes. I hope the ladies, wrapping around color. Now, those two situations are only there to clear the mind. Get the anxiety. My God, you're strung up, and that can be instantaneous. Instantaneous only if you concentrate. If it doesn't work the first time, do it again. Don't underestimate yourself. However, what Thor said is absolutely correct. The visualization covers anything you wish to do. Through visualization, you can see. You then are able to jump, not just into the sixth sense, 5 known senses, smell, taste, feel, hear, see, isn't something like that. The 5 known senses, The sixth ones is you boost it up. That's that little bit of boost. But you can also go to the seventh sense. We can actually also go to the eighth sense. I won't bother all of us with that eighth sense. But the seventh sense can only be reached through some form of visualization, individual visualization. Visualization can be seeing in your mind. People feel it, a cozy feeling, a happy feeling when the guide comes close, a shivering down your back feeling, a pat on the hat feeling, individual, holding your hand feeling. If you just go against a brick wall of I'm only breathing because I'm relaxing, breathing, relaxing. What happens if you start seeing something? You're not prepared for it. That's basically it. Through visualization, through the dusty road that we go, bit by bit, it's a challenge in itself. You know how to do it. Isn't that right? Because every other week, Thor and myself, and there's a group of us, we do a meditation. We've known each other for yonks. So there we are. It is the same meditation, and you have to really hold back. You know how to do that. You know how to get there fast. And that is the mind over matter, because you want to do it. You're the person, I'm not saying Thor, you want to do it. So you hold back and follow. Yeah, and you hold back. And that is the whole thing of it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tread that path again and again.
And again. And again. But the odd thing is, I don't know if you felt this sometimes, Thor. When I'm on that dusty road, I can verbally say, yes, my feet, the soles of my feet are hot and the sun is beating down on my head. There comes a point where you can actually feel the perspiration trickling down your back. Then you have actually jumped into another dimension. And when we do regressions, you jump into that other area. You've been that person. Very different looking individual, usually.
And another thing, which it just came into my mind now, is I came across this thing the other day, which is like someone on Instagram called themselves some sort of quantum, whatever, something, this, that, or the other. Not to decry people.
No.
But the thing is, like, what is it really necessary to put a fancy name on something?
Nothing.
Because I was like writing this reflection for myself.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been working with you for like 10 years. Love working with you, and I've had some incredible out of body spiritual experiences. Just been like, woo, what just happened?
Yeah.
And it's like, and people are doing all of this sort of strangely named things. Yeah. And I just don't imagine that they experience anything different than we do. What are your thoughts?
Well, as you rightly said, individual, but I don't know. I always find that, I've very, very rarely met somebody when they've gone on holiday. This is before lockdown, where we were all able to escape. Oh, mine was magical. Tell you one thing, my holidays weren't always bloody magical. And I didn't necessarily own up to it. But why try to be better and bigger than someone else? Oh, I dug a hole in the ground. It was full of concrete and it was, full of stones. But, I had such fun. I said, really? So again, I feel that because the quantum you imagine is a step beyond, what we're doing, I was taught simple so that anybody can question what we're saying, where we're going to and coming from, so that no one feels inferior or an idiot because for the fifth time they have to say, listen, I'm sorry, I still don't understand. Maybe it's us that's not explaining it, but not the person that is asking the question. That's why I'm hesitant about big words. Everything that we talk about, everything that we do is natural. It's totally natural.
It's totally natural.
Yeah, it is. However, we said this, whoever's listening, in our meditation on this last Tuesday, and I said the same thing. And our dear, dear friend Susie said, oh, no, that's not so. Maybe because it was aliens. It's a very sort of hotbed. One has to tread very, very carefully when you're talking about other life forms, of course. But again, if it is talked about and questions are asked, why should we actually be the only living beings in the
Yeah.
universes? Maybe we're even totally dumb, and
Yeah.
others are more evolved, such as compassion,
Yeah.
that everybody has the right to eat and to live under the same stars as you do.
Yeah. Our programming is pretty crappy sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. That's good. That's very, very good. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
suppose that is what it is, right? It is our programming, which sometimes which just makes absolutely no sense on a physical level.
No, it doesn't. That's where the meditation again, just be quiet for a time and way back, because I tend to be more of a jumpy, busy individual. I was given a candle and I was meant to focus on the flame of the candle. Yeah, it works a bit. It is a nice smelly candle as well. Try it. Whoever's listening, try it. Even if it's in a corner, it just, I don't know, it just sends off a nice sort of cozy glow. The days are getting a bit shorter. It's a little bit nippier. I always have to think of something that's economical, something that doesn't cost a lot. Candles can cost a lot, but there are
Yeah.
also a lot of inexpensive candles, so you don't have to have a fragrance.
Candles can be surprisingly expensive.
Very,
Especially if you
very,
want like a
very
nice
expensive.
candle.
Yes, but if you get them too big and they have 3 weeks in them, say at Sainsbury's or someplace or Poundland, then it becomes a pool of where they drown themselves in. So
Yeah,
that's not
yeah.
a very good idea.
Yeah, and also if you want to focus on like one, right, and then you got
Yeah,
three, and you're
exactly.
like, where do I put my eyes? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right. You're flickering. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
So, what's our positive message for the week, Ines?
okay. On the same note of survival, if it's not going right for you, turn left.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's like if it's not working out, change.
Think. Exactly. Change. Think.
Yeah,
And I think the most difficult thing with anything, and it doesn't matter which meditation or let's say belief structure you go to, because we're all human at the end of the day, is to be able to clear the emotional self. So if
mm.
you've got an axe to grind, something's going really bad, to get that awful feeling of doom away from you is really hard. Very, very, very hard to do.
Takes a lot of work. Yeah,
It does. Loneliness, heartache, anything like that. Oh yeah, just think yourself happy. How? It's very, very, very difficult.
super hard. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you for another week, Ines, and thank you to
Okay.
those of you who are sending through questions. That's super helpful and
Yeah. Super, super
diversifies
helpful.
the podcast. So, thank you so much, everyone, and we will
Yeah.
see you all back again here next week.
Brilliant. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Toodaloo.